Okay, good evening. This is the Board of Education meeting held on Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. I'm calling the meeting to order at 7 p.m. If you can please call the roll.
Mrs. Arvanites? Mrs. Assif?
Here.
Mrs. Hostler?
Here.
Mrs. Troutman?
Here.
Dr. Henry?
Here.
Mrs. Slawinski?
Here.
Mr. Bresnahan?
Here.
We have 6 board members present and 1 absent. At this time, I ask that we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I was like, am I supposed to start it? Okay, our first agenda item is public comments. The public comment section of the board meeting provides an opportunity for community members to share information and perspectives with the Board of Education. And while the board does not respond during public comments, we are listening and thoughtfully considering the messages being shared. Each of us have high expectations for our community and ask that public comments are respectful and do not mention any individuals by name. The way in which we publicly engage when sharing differing perspectives is an opportunity to model healthy and respectful discourse for our students and greater community while creating an environment of collaboration and partnership. There will be 30 minutes allocated for public comments with up to 3 minutes per public comment speaker concerning items on the agenda. The board secretary will give a reminder when you have 30 seconds left. Let's begin with our first speaker.
John Bischoff.
Hello, school board. Thank you for having us for public comment. My name is John Bischoff. For those that don't know me, I have 3 children in District 205. One going to be a freshman, one is incoming 7th grader, and my youngest daughter, who is an incoming 3rd grader at Edison. I'm here to speak about our class size, and it's not just a problem that we're having at Edison, it's a problem, it seems, district-wide. Last year we had 26 and 27 in our 2 second grade classes, and we had 2 tremendous teachers that did their best trying to give each kid extra attention where they needed it, extra help for when it was either an IEP or 504 plan. But my daughter was struggling, and she did not have an IEP or 504 plan, and these teachers went out of their way, bent over backwards to try and help her. She saw the reading interventionist, she saw the social worker at our school for help. She's in the process of getting an IEP, but we're still, at Edison, we don't have a math interventionalist. So the only people available to help her are the existing teacher, and even her reading interventionalist was helping her a little bit with the word problems in math. I find that in a district like 205, to not have a math interventionalist added per elementary school is unconscionable, or not to even at least have someone who rotates between the elementary schools is unacceptable. We're at the critical years. Our scores are improving across our K through 8 grades, and we don't want to lose that momentum in this district. We pay a lot of taxes to be in a premium school department, not meets expectations school, education system. We're supposed to be elite. We're supposed to be doing very well, and I want us to continue with that. We've seen across the board that, we know across the board that lower class sizes are helpful in allowing teachers to give extra help to those who excel and who might need even more because they're doing very well, those who are kind of floundering in the middle, having maybe other problems but still scoring average test scores and kind of getting swept under the rug, and then especially for those our lowest achievers who are trying to get back up to grade standards. When our teachers are stretched and do not have
30 seconds.
enough resources to help our lower achievers, then they don't have as much time as they should to help our average kids and our excelling kids. And it holds everyone behind. And I don't want to see that for District 205. I like the fact that our scores have been improving, and I would like to see that continue to improve. Thank you very much.
Jessica Leonette.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Leonetti, and I am a parent of an incoming second grader and an incoming third grader at Edison Elementary School here in Elmhurst. I'm a former teacher. I taught actually at Churchville Middle School for 3 years, and I have actually taught literacy for 15 years in the state of Illinois. Currently, I work for an ed tech company, and I sell curriculum to various Illinois school districts, and I partner with administrators, coaches, and teachers. I'm extremely passionate about education. Moreover, I have been an active volunteer at Edison for 3 years now, helping host events and pushing into classrooms to provide support to our teachers. And in 2021, our family chose to move to Elmhurst because of the school district and its community. While my children are performing in the average range in both reading and math currently on standardized assessments, they are falling behind with their formative and summative assessments. I am concerned with the class sizes specific to the incoming third grade class at Edison. I'm also concerned with the lack of social emotional supports and math supports at Edison for all grades. While Edison is 63.2% proficient in ELA and 67.8% proficient in math on the IAR assessment, the teachers are struggling with differentiation and engagement in the classroom. I've been in those classrooms a variety of times over these 3 years. And there are no additional interventionists who can support Tier 2 and Tier 3 students struggling with math. My son recently was diagnosed with ADHD, and at the end of this academic year, he qualified for a 504 plan. In his 504 plan, we compiled 20 different modifications to help him as he begins third grade this fall. These 20 accommodations are just for one student in a class of 27. And in the state of Illinois, each class must maintain a 70-30 ratio of non-IEP students to IEP students. In looking at the Edison report card, I was only able to locate a circle graph indicating these ratios holistically rather than by grade level. Is your administration taking into account the percent of IEPs and 504 plans for our students at each grade level for every building? If not, that data must be analyzed. And if the numbers justify it, the district has the ability to request a staffing exemption from the state to bring in additional personnel.
30 seconds.
I won't get to the last part, but I just want to say that anecdotally, through seeing my students, my children, and talking to various community members and parents, we're just noticing that students are not getting the support that they need, and we're having to outsource frequently and find tutors for math because that support is not taking place within our building, and I don't know that it's happening at any of the other
3
buildings.
minutes.
So, anyways, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your time, and I'm hopeful that we can collaborate to find a solution. Thank you.
Jessica Anzaldi.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Anzaldi, and I am a parent of 2 children who attend Jackson School. I am also an educator who has taught for over 25 years in classrooms ranging in size from 18 to 35 students. I currently teach second grade in a neighboring district. To begin, I am really proud to be a District 205 family. When my husband and I decided to raise our children in Elmhurst, a top reason was our exemplary school district. Our unified district, which includes a top-level competitive high school, is at the core of our special community, and it is this high level of education that we must ensure continues long into the future here at 205. The issue of rising class sizes threatens the stability and exemplary status. Last year, my daughter, who was in third grade at the time at Jackson, had 27 students in her class. Unfortunately, she experienced very limited small group instruction. The majority of her day was spent receiving instruction given through a whole group setting. This is not best practice in education, as we know. And the students who are most at risk of being overlooked in a crowded setting are those that fall into the middle range, as others have said. Not the bottom tier who will receive intervention services, and not the top performers who attend programs such as REACH, but our typical performing students, those who range from the 25th to, quite frankly in Elmhurst, the 95th percentile, which is the majority of our students. And those 95, or those percentages deserve to have their voices heard as well. As I prepare my own classroom for this upcoming school year, I've given a lot of thought to how hard it would be to deliver effective small group instruction to a class of 27, and I've done it with 35, and it's a lot of work. Breaking in a group of 27 into 3 groups for reading, writing, and math means that you have a small group of 9 per group. 9 is not a small group. I truly cannot even fit 9 students at my small group education table. This is a tremendous obstacle to teaching and learning. There's a lot of talk around the profile of a student in the year 2025. Many characteristics are not ones that lend themselves to being successful in a large classroom. Our students struggle with emotional regulation, executive functioning, focus, and poor interpersonal communication skills. As educators, it falls on us to provide our students with a classroom environment that will allow them to learn and grow. This is extremely challenging in a
30
room with
seconds.
27 kids. As we move forward, we need to look to hire and retain the best teachers out there, because that's what Elmhurst deserves. But this will be difficult to do if neighboring districts are better able to limit their class sizes. We all love Elmhurst, and we all want the best for our students. This begins with smaller, more manageable classrooms. I hope that we can work together to make this happen in the future. Thank you.
Nadia Wetzel.
Good evening. My name is Nadia, and my daughter just completed first grade at Lincoln Elementary. Her class had 24 students, one of whom was highly disruptive in ways that, in my opinion, had serious negative impact on learning throughout the year. In fact, the classroom environment deteriorated so much that a pregnant teacher was let go. Yet no changes were made to the class size. Research from the well-known Project STAR study show that the class size has the greatest impact on learning outcomes in grades K through 3, and especially in first grade. Malcolm Gladwell, in his books Blink, The Tipping Point, and Outliers, highlights how small, early advantages, like a strong elementary education, can compound over time. He refers to this principle as a cumulative advantage. Children who get ahead early tend to keep ahead because opportunities build on each other. This is exactly what we as parents, all these people in this room behind me, are asking for you, and we urge you, the district, to revisit your class size policy for K through 3. The concept of a cumulative advantage reminds us that the long-term success isn't about talent and effort. It's shaped by the quality of the environment, and especially the opportunities we choose to provide and withhold. Hiring great teachers, which I know the district is already focused on, is only half of the equation. To unlock the full potential of those educators, we need to ensure they're working in class sizes where they can make the biggest difference. Let's look at the numbers. The average for the state class size is 22. Elmhurst 205's average is 24. The ideal range, supported by research, is 19 to 22. My daughter's class had 24 students, which placed her at a cumulative disadvantage. And she's not alone. This isn't just about academic skills like reading and math. It's also about mental health, social development, and attention regulation, which are increasingly challenged in today's young children. They don't need more iPad time. They need more human
30
connection
seconds.
and more one-on-one attention. So tonight, I respectfully asked Elmhurst 205 to earmark part of the funds from this year's tax increase to reduce K through 3 class sizes and to a target range of 19 to 22. And in schools where space is limited, please provide reading and math specialists or teacher's aides to help bridge the gap. By doing so, you'll be giving every child in Elmhurst an accumulative advantage and setting District
minutes.
205 up for long-term measurable success. Thank you.
Jackie Colhagen.
Hi, my name is Jackie Colhagen. I have an incoming third grader and an incoming kindergartner at Jefferson Elementary School. My oldest daughter had 17 children in her class in kindergarten and first grade, and then in second grade, she had 26 students in her class. And to say that this had a negative effect on her and her classmates is an understatement. It's frankly, it was all consuming for the parents of those kids and a challenge that we ended up having to take on as parents. I know following the initial standardized test scores in the fall, we had a meeting with Principal Sweeney to express our concern, and we were told that this dip in test scores is something that typically happens in second grade and that the test scores will rise back up. While the test scores did rise back up, what that data doesn't show is the Herculean effort that was taken on by parents and families like myself to bridge the gap between what was missing in their classrooms through at-home instruction, because not only were they coming home with homework, they literally didn't know how to do it, as well as tutors. I was suggested to get a tutor by my child's teacher, and while I'm super happy that I did because it did ultimately help her, I think it's pretty outrageous that a district with our resources and means is now having parents shoulder that burden, an additional out-of-pocket expense of getting a tutor because the kids frankly aren't getting what they need in the classroom. So I think what you will hear tonight from this community is that this is a problem that's not going away, right? I am not going to pretend that I know, as someone who does not work in education, I work in PR, that all the complexities that come with running a school district. But as a parent, my role is to tell you that boots on the ground, there is a problem, and that we have seen that problem in our children, and we are coming to you telling you this problem is not going to go away, and it's just going to get worse and fester in the next school year when we don't have solutions. So I am asking for this group of smart-minded people to come together with solutions for the 26-27 school year. Thank you.
Samuel Shaw.
Hello, my name is Somil Shaw. I am a parent of a rising third grader and a rising kindergartner at Edison. We moved here 2 years ago from the city, particularly for the school district as well as the community. While we've enjoyed the community, I think the school has left a little bit, given a little bit of the responsibility to the parents. We've had to work hard with both our children, but namely the older one, outside of school because of either not excelling in the way that we would expect. MAP scores were positive and then down and then up again, and we've noticed some gaps in his education. Particularly for third graders, one of the members of the Board of Education wrote, quote, "Third grade is a year when some schools, depending on their enrollment, may experience a slightly larger class size, and this has been the district experience/model for years. If so, I wonder why that has not been planned for, and why class sizes are increasing, particularly for third grade at Edison. I'm not fully aware of the class sizes at other schools, but I do understand that they are increasing as well. But if this is a known concern or known issue, I would expect that the board to handle it appropriately and proactively by increasing or decreasing class sizes, increasing teachers for third grade across the district. Thank you.
Michelle McCardle.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michelle McCardle. Thank you for allowing me to speak here again tonight. I am the parent of an incoming third grader and kindergartner at Lincoln, and I'm here again tonight to speak out on the topic of classroom sizes. The voters in the community passed a $168 million referendum in 2018 to improve our school district, so the commitment to our school system and to our kids is very clear. And anyone who lives in Elmhurst can see how it is changing. The town is going through an obvious turnover. My belief is that the new generation of Elmhurst parents raising kids here may have different expectations than families 15 years ago. And I would like to pose this as a real opportunity to the leaders of this district. This is an opportunity for you to hear the community, listen to the community, and take action that the community desires. Most decisions are made around data. So I would encourage this district to survey families, collect data on what's most important, meet parents where we are today. Don't continue to make decisions based on old data. Let's question the status quo. The parents in this community are all very keyed in on classroom sizes. It is greatly important to us. My hope is that we can work together, take the opportunity to serve the community that you guys represent. Thank you.
Anita Karwadkar.
Hello, school board. I am a parent of a Jefferson student going to 3rd grade. From 1st to 2nd grade, my son went from 16 kids to 25 kids. The change was very ill-timed in my opinion. There was no way to get any of the other students out of the classroom through ways of either reach or in any other system. My son does actually have speech that he does go to. That's 30 minutes a week. That was the only time he could ever get pulled out. The classroom at best was at times very, very chaotic. We need to really reconsider what our policy is towards the number of children that are in the class, particularly in 2nd grade. I don't think that was a great decision, and I do think that increasing the number of kids to 9 more kids per classroom at a time when kids are admittedly a bit immature, my son included, I would tell you that it did create a disservice for everyone. It created a disservice for those that were struggling in the classroom, those that were considered average, and those that were needed a little bit more enrichment, a bit more of acceleration. We can't stand on the corner of the streets to recruit kids to Jefferson. It's not possible. There are only so many kids that will go there. We also have other schools that are right around the corner. I would ask you and urge you to focus your attention on these critical years. All of my peers right here are telling you the same. The focus and the attention needs to be on our elementary school. This sets us up for continued excitement around education. That's what we want. And I absolutely intend to continue to express myself because I think it's just that important. Thank you.
Heather Price.
Hello, my name is Heather Price. I am a parent of 3 D205 kiddos. One is going into 6th grade at Sandburg, one is going into 3rd grade at Edison, and the other one is going into 1st grade at Edison. I was not planning on speaking tonight, but I am a special educator. I taught for 15 years before COVID, and I feel like we need to kind of address that piece of this in the classroom, in the class sizes. My rising 3rd grader has a 504 plan, and he had a great teacher, fantastic teacher. This is not about the staff. I feel like every teacher my children have had has been phenomenal, and I love this district. But these teachers are not wizards, and having 26 children in your classroom, as a special educator, I can't imagine how you can meet the needs of every child in that room, especially the ones with IEPs and 504s who need extra attention and extra supports to succeed. It went so far as I even met with the assistant principal the last week of the school year to kind of, and the teacher to address the fact that it was a really rough year with so many children in the room. And the teacher did her best. And they added things to his 504 plan for heading into third grade, but I can't imagine how adding more supports and accommodations to his 504 plan is going to help a whole lot more if he's going into a room, once again, with a fantastic teacher and just that many students. So I think this district is a reason why a lot of us moved here, and I think it's fantastic, and I'd really like to encourage you to really focus on class sizes. Kids need to feel like they're heard. They need to feel like they're known and safe in order to learn, and I don't feel like that was happening, especially in my son's classroom this year. I don't feel like, there needs to be a rapport built, and if you are one of an army of children, even that piece of it, that social emotional building rapport, feeling seen and known so that you can feel safe to learn, even that piece is difficult. Okay, I'm just gonna check my notes real quick. What did I forget? Yeah,
30 seconds.
That's pretty much it. So thank you for your time. Hopefully that made sense. Okay.
Thank you to everyone who took the time to voice their concerns, support, or perspectives to the Board of Education. Common practice of the board is to follow up with public commenters after the board meeting as needed. Thank you all very much. Our next item on our agenda is approval of board meeting minutes. Approval of the regular and special board meeting minutes from date June 17th, 2025 and June 30th, 2025. Are there any changes to the meeting minutes? Okay, seeing no changes, meeting minutes stand as presented. Next up is reports and presentations, and it is overview of summer programming 2025. Thank you.
I have to push the button first. There we go. I should know how to do this. I'm a music person. I should know how to use a microphone. All right. Well, thank you all for having us here tonight. I'm Dr. Patrick Baker with my colleague, Dr. Colleen Cook, and I'm excited to provide a brief and timely recap of our 2025 summer programming. While several of our athletic camps are still running, most of our programs have concluded within the last few weeks. I would like to start by thanking all 280 of our summer program teachers and staff whose dedication and expertise is the heartbeat of our summer programs. I would also like to thank all of our program leaders, our early childhood leader, Dr. Susan Kondrat, our K-5 leaders, Dr. Colleen Cook, Amanda Madalena, and Maureen Schroeder, our 612 leaders, Anna Baramis, Matt Bull, Joe Giacaris, John Immel, Dr. Skip Coombe, and Diane Oliveros, as well as Rob Wagner, who led athletic camps, and I had the pleasure of leading our Summer Fine Arts program. And finally, thanks to our host sites, Edison, Fisher, and York, as well as their leaders for welcoming summer programs and students from across the district into their buildings. There we go. Over the course of the last few years, District 205 has continued to develop and offer a robust slate of summer academic, athletic, and arts learning opportunities where students are supported in their academic and social and emotional needs through a variety of programs and supports where they can build meaningful relationships with staff and peers. Every program on this list has a specific target audience and purpose. I won't take the time this evening to review each program, but I do want to take a moment to call out a few examples. Acceleration is for recommended kindergarten through 7th grade students to support them in continuing to build essential skills and content knowledge in core academic subjects. And as part of the York Summer School program, we continue to offer the Survey of Healthcare Careers course this year. This course is made possible by a partnership with the organization Kids Matter, and it allows students to explore various allied health professions through a combination of in-class learning and field experiences, while also earning credit at the College of DuPage. There we go. Maybe my clicker's working now. As you can see, there is a place for everyone in District 205's summer programs. And with that in mind, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Colleen Cook for a spotlight on our extended school year programming.
All right, just
Just got to see if I can get it down a little bit. All right. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to highlight one of our summer programs, our extended school year program. This year, we had nearly 230 students across the district from preschool all the way through transition participate in our extended school year program. This number has remained consistent over the past 3 to 4 school years. So that's really exciting that we're seeing consistent enrollment in this program. Students qualify for ESY based on recommendations from their IEP teams. Therefore, instruction was aligned to their specific IEP goals, and we had the great pleasure of having highly qualified staff partner with each one of our students. We had qualified special education teachers, related service providers, as well as paraprofessionals in each of our ESY classrooms. And finally, one of the most exciting things was staff also reporting a positive experience. 94% of our staff that responded to our survey stated that they would like to work ESY again. Thank you for the opportunity to help, lead the program. It was a great summer, and I'm really excited to help lead the program again next year.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cook. This summer, we continued targeted recruitment for acceleration based on student outcome data, including MAP, IAR, and school-level academic indicators. After observing low enrollment for rising freshmen in acceleration over the last 2 years, we shifted our efforts to encourage this year's rising freshmen to take a York Summer School course. I'm happy to report that these efforts contributed to an increase in enrollment of 75 at York this summer. D205 continued offering fee-based academic and exploratory options for elementary and middle school students. We anticipated a potential decline in enrollment in acceleration as it shifted to a fee-based program due to the expiration of ESSER funds. And as you can see, that decline came to pass. However, I'm pleased to report that D205 was able to provide 54 students with a full scholarship to attend acceleration. No eligible student that requested a scholarship was denied one. As I mentioned, D205 also continued to offer the Survey of Healthcare Careers Pathway course for our high school students, which was offered at no cost to families thanks to Kids Matter. We also offered athletics and arts opportunities for students across nearly all grades. These opportunities were fee-based as we continue to monitor the long-term financial sustainability of all of our summer programs while still offering a wide variety of enrichment opportunities. While individual program enrollment fluctuates from year to year, I'm excited that overall enrollment continues to be strong despite shifts in fee structures this year. This suggests that our summer programming is not only robust, but it's providing offerings that meet the needs and the interests of our students. As previewed during the January board presentation, costs associated with acceleration were shifted to a fee-based model due to the elimination of ESSER funds. But recognizing this, the district was able to utilize Title I funds to ensure continued access to summer programming. We're still reconciling all of the costs associated with summer programs, including the costs of transportation, but we anticipate breaking even in most of our revenue-generating programs. Which leads me also to our exit survey data, as Dr. Cook referenced earlier. And as you can see, the overwhelming majority of staff, students, and families rated their experience as positive, either satisfied or very satisfied, which again reinforces our conclusion that the current slate of summer offerings is successfully meeting the needs and interests of our students. Additionally, students earned 612.5 credits in the York Academic Summer School programs this year, which is a very large increase of about 200 credits. This is a big celebration for us as we continue to improve our communication with students and families and staff, align our programs, and increase interest in our slate of summer offerings. As a result of this, more high school students have more scheduling flexibility during the school year to pursue areas of passion and purpose, and more students are getting what they need to graduate on time. As we begin this coming school year, preparation for next summer has already begun. In order to continue evaluating the impact of our academic summer programs like Acceleration, we will continue to monitor student performance on both standardized and local assessments. As I did last year, I'll report on the impact for targeted summer programming at my presentation in January. This will allow us to ensure that these summer programs are having the largest possible impact, and it will provide us the opportunity to make changes as needed. Similarly, we'll examine our new course fee structure to ensure our summer programs are financially sustainable. In addition, we will continue to develop language pathways for our dual language students. We look to build off the success of our Healthcare Careers Survey course to identify additional opportunities for secondary students to explore learning and career pathways, and we'll evaluate our exploratory offerings to look for potential opportunities to increase alignment to district goals and priorities and strengthen connections to areas of student passion and purpose. I look forward to sharing information about summer programming 2026 in January. And it feels weird to say that right now. And families, please be on the lookout for communication about next summer programming beginning in early February at the latest. Thank you, and I would be happy to take any questions you might have at this time.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the board?
I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
The ESY programming, 240, is that what I, 240? 230. How many recommendations were sent out? So how many kids were invited to it versus how many kids actually enrolled?
Ooh, I don't know if I
That's
have-
okay.
I
was
don't know
just
if I have
curious
that
to
number.
see. I'm always wondering, like, I'm sure there's a zillion reasons why students aren't taking advantage of opportunities. If we can just explore what those possible issues. I know the fees became a problem, but clearly that wasn't the issue because everybody who needed fees were covered.
ESY is also a free program, so
Okay. So ESY was not
ESY
okay.
does not have a fee associated with it.
Yeah, so I'm curious as to if there are
I could
students.
definitely gather that data and
Great.
have it for Dr. Baker for the January update.
Okay.
But anecdotally, looking at, we don't have many students that actually decline the program, so.
Awesome. Thank you.
ESY, just to add on to that, ESY, we have a very high response rate once we send out the invitations in January and February. Most people respond very, very quickly, and that is a first program offering that they want to get into. Across the district, we could have added 10 or maybe 15 people to those numbers. Those were people who wanted to take a break with their child over the summer, didn't feel like they wanted to take advantage of the opportunities, but really very, very small numbers of people.
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who does all of the work and organization. I know it's a ton of work to organize this many programs and students and make sure that you're offering things that students are interested in, and I know it's a ton of work, so thank you so much for that. I just think there's so many benefits to our summer program, addressing students who need a little extra and getting them in the summer when maybe during the school year it's difficult for them to get that extra help. Offering classes to students who might not have room in their schedule to take them during the school year, but they can still, this is a way they can still take them. And then it sounds like some of the great new opportunities through York High School and NCOD give more kids opportunities to look into those avenues for career paths too. So just a ton of benefits, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Good, Kelly.
I'd like to say thank you guys to both my children attended the summer schools and the fine arts program this summer, and it was really wonderful. My rising freshman realized also how rigorous it is, so it's not just a fun time, but also they're learning a lot. But it's cool to see the program turn from something that's not, you don't want to do over the summer, especially kids, to something that they do look forward to. So thank you guys so much. I also want to say the summer arts program was excellent too, so that was really nice.
Thank you.
Okay, last comment, just thank you, yes, thank you so much for the robust programming. And I was just going to, personally, I had an opportunity to witness the athletic programs because my kids did the soccer and the basketball. And just walking in that basketball court with all those young teens and girls, and just the excitement in that room of having that opportunity to be a Duke even for the week. And just watching them develop relationships with the older students and just seeing them as these role models in the community. Like, just then we see them out to dinner and we're like, oh my gosh, we know that high school girl or whatever. It's just such a great program for all of our kids and so many opportunities. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good. All right. All right, moving on. So, thank you, guys. All right, so next on the item on our agenda is consent agenda. Is there anything anyone would like to pull from the consent agenda? Okay, if so, no. Can I have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
Oh, wait.
I can do it. I move that the Board of Education approve the following consent agenda items: A, personnel report; B, financial reports; C, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act requests; D, Stuart Rogers Limited Photography Contract Extension; E, Beck's Bookstore Extension; F, approval of athletic trainer contract extension; G, second read policy section 2, Board of Education, policy review 2260, 2265; H, second read policy section 4, operational services, policy review 415, 480, 4120, 4150; I, second read policy section 5, personnel, policy review 510, 520, 560, 5100; J, second read policy section 6, instruction policy review 6150, 6235, 6310; K, second read policy section 7, students, policy review 710, 720, 750, 760, 770, 7180, 7185, 7190, 7200, 7210, 7250, 7255, 7270, 7310, 7315, and 7340. And L, second read policy section 8, community relations, policy review 830.
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Hostler, second by Ms. Trautman. Can I please call the vote?
Mrs. Hostler?
Yes.
Mrs. Troutman?
Yes.
Mrs. Assif?
Yes.
Dr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Bresnahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Arvanites?
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion passes. Do I have to say 1 absent? And 1 absent. Okay. Next on the agenda, agenda action items, A, approval of Next Path.
We brought a draft of this in front of you at our June meeting, which seems like an eon ago. But building on our district-wide MTSS needs assessment and extensive stakeholder feedback, we are bringing a recommendation to you this evening to approve the contract with NextPath to support our multi-tiered systems of support. We went through a comprehensive process, receiving a lot of feedback. Some of the highlights of this program and system include interactive data walls for multi-point analysis, consolidating our student profile pages, embedded attendance reports, which I know that I'm looking forward to having at my fingertips, and a visual MTSS performance dashboards, such as I'm a Learner, as an example. The cost of NextPath is projected to be $42,650, and it is an investment that is replacing some current expenditures. Embrace has provided an MTSS platform in some capacity for about $8,000, and we are reducing our reliance on ACRIS for this next year. And so there is going to be, and there's also a possibility of additional cost savings after we've used it for a year and consolidate some of our systems. So we are asking for a motion to approve the one-year contract with NextPath Solutions.
I move that the Board of Education approve the one-year contract with NextPath Solutions at a cost not to exceed $42,650 for use as part of our MTSS implementation plan.
I second.
Great, motion made by Ms. Assif, second by Mrs. Slawinski. Or actually, do we have any comments from the board?
Thank you. So June does feel like a year ago. So Next Path, I'm sorry if this was answered in June, but is this a one and done, this 1-year contract, or is this something that will be an annual renewal of that same cost every year?
We anticipate being very happy with the product. We did a 1-year contract and potentially could be renewing it at an additional year.
But this was our second year though, right?
This is our first year.
Oh, okay. So this is our first year. And so if you're happy with it, does a multi-year contract come at reduced rates?
There are some possibilities. This is a newer company that is working with several other school districts across the state and in Wisconsin. And so there are some possibilities for that we are open to exploring over the course of this year.
And so then you said it will replace Embrace.
The MTSS, the MTSS portion of Embrace. So,
Okay.
We're not replacing Embrace altogether.
Okay.
It's one specific portion that is going to be replaced by this, and then we are reducing our reliance on Acris. So last year, the board approved a contract with Acris for about $56,000, a little bit over that, and so this is significantly reducing that cost.
So then Ecris will cost us less.
Acris will cost us about $5,000 for this next year.
And do you anticipate this Ecris continuing to phase out and cost less over time if Next Path?
Next Path, right. That is something that we anticipate. So there are really a lot of very user-friendly functions. One of the pieces that we've not fully explored yet with NextPath is their public-facing dashboards, which is what we are primarily using or going to be using Acris for over the coming year. All of the other pieces that we've utilized Acris for over the past several years have been data growth and projections and those sorts of things, and we have the capacity both with this system and with our own in-house people to be able to do those same growth measures in the same ways.
Great, thank you.
Other comments from the board? Can we call the vote?
Mrs. Assif?
Yes.
Mrs. Slawinski?
Yes.
Mr. Bresnahan?
Yes.
Dr. Henry?
Yes.
Mrs. Hostler?
Yes.
Mrs. Troutman?
Yes.
Mrs. Arvanites?
6 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent, motion passes. Next item is approval of flexible learning plan.
All right, thank you. District 205's flexible learning plan supports instructional continuity by providing a virtual learning option when in-person attendance is not possible, particularly during inclement weather. The initial plan was approved in July of 2022 and has expired recently. Per Illinois State Board of Education guidelines, e-learning plans must be renewed every 3 years. We are recommending that the Board of Education approve the renewal of the D205 flexible learning plan for an additional 3 years, extending through the end of the 2027-28 school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approves. Sorry, did somebody start to talk?
Go for it.
I had my glasses off, so I couldn't hear you. I move that the Board of Education renew the flexible learning plan for a period of 3 school years to expire at the end of the 27-28 school year.
I'll second.
Great, motion made by Ms. Troutman, second by Ms. Hostler. Are there any comments from the board? I always forget.
I'll go again, if you
Go
don't
for
mind.
it.
So
Yep.
I always like for the community to hear that this does not mean there are not snow days. This is nothing new. This is not, the things we have PTSD about from many years ago, right? This is a required thing from the state, and it is a plan for us to keep us on target with the number of learning days in a school year, right? Dr. Campbell could probably say it more You
did a great job.
Than me, but I just don't want the community to, think that this is something new. This is an annual requirement that is done, that we have had in place each year. So.
That's correct. We have to renew every 3 years.
Any other comments? Okay, can we call the vote?
Mrs. Troutman?
Yes.
Mrs. Hostler?
Yes.
Mrs. Assif?
Yes.
Mrs. Slawinski?
Yes.
Mr. Bresnahan?
Yes.
Dr. Henry?
Yes.
Mrs. Irvinides?
6 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent, motion passes. Next, item C, approval of monitoring progress and taking action instructional material selection.
Well, hopefully I can hear, but I can't see because I forgot my glasses. So I think that you're over there, Courtney. I did hear you. So thank you for having me again tonight. Yeah, I mean, that actually would help. This is really big on my computer screen, so. But we've gotten used to this presentation, so I think that we'll all be familiar with it. But as presented during the June 17th, 2025 Board of Education meeting, the district's learning and teaching team, in partnership with middle school leadership teams, identified instructional materials for use in middle school Spanish for Spanish speakers courses for this upcoming school year. Since the June board presentation, the materials were physically on display at our district office, and the district received one response in our review form. The district responded to that request for more information. It was really a request for clarification regarding the language of instruction in the Spanish for Spanish speakers course, which is solely in Spanish. And there was also a clarification requested around the use of English in that course. And so we did clarify the minimal use of English in the instructional materials as well. Tonight, the Learning and Teaching team is requesting approval for the instructional materials for Spanish speakers entitled Perspectivas, Intermediate Spanish, A Cultural Approach, published by Vista in 2025. Perspectivas will be used as the core curriculum for our middle school Spanish for Spanish speakers course. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Can I have a motion?
Sure. I move that the Board of Education approve the adoption of materials for use in middle school Spanish for Spanish speakers courses as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Bresnahan, second by Ms. Assif. Any comments from the board? Okay, can we call to a vote? Yeah.
I think this is a great idea.
Mr. Bresnahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Assif?
Yes.
Mrs. Hostler?
Yes.
Mrs. Slawinski?
Yes.
Mrs. Troutman?
Yes.
Dr. Henry?
Yes.
Mrs. Irvinides?
6 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent, motion passes. Next item is D, approval of recommendation for hazardous crossing.
Thank you. The state of Illinois requires every district annually to review, refine, and affirm the list of hazardous crossings for transportation routes. The district has reviewed all of our existing hazardous crossings and recommends that we affirm every hazardous crossing remain the same as has been the case in at least the last decade.
Thank you. Can I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the resolution to continue providing hazardous busing for the 2025-2026 school year and authorize the submission of hazardous crossing data to the Illinois Department of Transportation for final approval.
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Assif, second by Ms. Hostler. Any comments from the board?
I feel pressure, so
You're gonna have to say
will.
something.
I'm going to say this to prevent the emails from flooding in about busing. This does not mean that there's any changes to routes, changes to any service that our community is used to already, right? This is just another one of these got a checklist items.
Correct. The resolution is that it stays exactly the same.
Perfect. Thank you. See, I just saved you a couple emails, Joe.
Any other comments?
Just a quick question. I'm just curious if there are ever requests brought to us asking for us to examine different areas or new areas, or if it's feel like we're covering all of our bases here.
That's an excellent question. We do receive requests from time to time. There is a carefully laid out process by the Illinois State Board of Education and the Illinois Department of Transportation that lays out guidelines for which you can do the analysis. It's a combination of traffic flow, of access to sidewalks, other hazards like railroad crossings have an impact on that. And so whenever a request is received, we can do that analysis, and it is a point system. And then whenever there is a new request that does meet the point threshold, it can be submitted to the Illinois Department of Transportation for a new hazardous crossing to be created.
Great, thanks so much.
So if it is deemed by the point system and the Department of Transportation as a hazardous crossing, is that then automatically mean those students that are on the other side of that crossing would receive busing?
That is somewhat accurate. Once the Illinois Department of Transportation affirms it, then you as the school board also has to affirm it after IDOT has confirmed it.
Mrs. Assif?
Yes.
Mrs. Hassler?
Yes.
Mrs. Slawinski?
Yes.
Dr. Henry?
Yes.
Mrs. Troutman?
Yes.
Mr. Bresnahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Arvanites?
6 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent. Motion passes. Great. Next item is Superintendent Communications.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I want to start off with sharing some thoughts and some reflections regarding a matter that our school district we've engaged in over the last several months with conversations with families regarding class configurations and enrollments for the upcoming school year. So if you would just bear with me to share some thoughts and some reflections, as well as some information that will also be made available to all of our stakeholders within our community, because this will go out in our board highlights as well. On behalf of the Board of Education and District 205 administration team, I first want to start off by thanking our parents and community members who've taken the time to share their perspective, to ask the very difficult questions, and for taking the time to engage in dialogue with us. These conversations began prior to the end of the school year, and they have continued throughout the summer, just as recently as today, having the privilege to sit down and to discuss and to share. And on behalf of the board as well as the administration, we cannot highlight and underscore the value of having dialogue and the value of sharing perspective. And we really, really appreciate that. And I think that's one of many reasons that makes District 205 such a great school community, is because of the engagement and because of the partnership. And making sure that we continue to be accountable to our school community for providing a high-quality educational experience for every student, as well as upholding a very deep value and commitment to the community school model. And so I want to just kind of take a step back to say that the dialogue and the work around planning for the upcoming year, we heard tonight that team members are already thinking. We are ramping up for the start of the school year. But guess what? We're already planning also for what's going to happen next summer. And so as it relates to preparing for the upcoming school year, that work begins in January. January, in particular, in talking about class configurations, district as well as school leaders have been carefully reviewing enrollment data. We've analyzed trends. We work collaboratively across departments to then make staffing recommendations that reflect both student needs and available resources. Now, what I want to also put a pin in is that given the complexity of being a unit district, there are many factors that are taken into consideration to ensure that all of our decisions and recommendations that are brought to the board result in a quality experience, and that we're taking into consideration this beginning with our mini Dukes all the way through York Community High School as well as our transition center. So as a unit district, our decisions around allocations of resources is being distributed across our 5 levels: early childhood, elementary schools, middle schools, and high school, as well as our Bridges Transition Center. We are so fortunate to think about the continuity of the student experience, starting with our mini Dukes all the way through and beyond. And so therefore, we take and must be extremely careful when we consider the potential impact that a decision has on the system, not just an individual school or individual grade level, but we're thinking about the system as a whole. And so as a district made up of community schools, we have to recognize, and we've said and we've shared in many of the conversations, that due to this, enrollment, class size may vary and fluctuate. And that variance happens within schools, across levels. And additionally, class sizes shift slightly as students progress through the system. And so oftentimes, we are thinking and considering the continuation of that experience, as well as taking into consideration the longstanding practices to help ensure that we are allocating resources equitably and responsibly across our entire district, as well as taking into consideration specific program needs and requirements that also comes with state statutes and laws. And so with that being said, again, and I want to speak on behalf to say this is coming from the board as well as the administration, thank you for the feedback. We welcome the feedback. We will continue to listen to the feedback and to acknowledge that so that we together continue to make sure that D205 remains the place that families choose to come and live, play, and also work in. Now, our experience has shown, and I have to say this, under this current administration, that D205 students have continued to grow and thrive, and there's a couple of indicators or a couple of reasons why. First and foremost, we have really, really good educators. We have really, really dynamic and strong teachers. We've paired that with high-quality curricular resources. We've paired our really, really good, strong teachers, our high-quality resources, with intentional professional learning that keeps us on a pathway of taking in research and data and standards to make adjustments to continue to meet the needs of our students. We have well-designed learning environments. And even though there is variance across our district as it relates to class size, I am proud to say that just this past school year in 2024 and 2025, we once again saw the greatest percentage of students achieving both in math and ELA proficiency. We also saw that all of our K-8 schools met, as well as in many areas exceeded the expected growth as it relates to projections from both math and ELA. We are proud of those accomplishments. Are we finished? No. Do we have more work to do? Absolutely. But those results have come off of the strategic and thoughtful and intentional work that has been done under this current administration. D205 also has a very robust learning support system throughout our schools. In addition, beyond just certified classrooms, we offered, and we're so appreciative to the board for even approving tonight, a system that allows us to offer and to track and to monitor the supports that are provided to students to meet the diverse academic and social needs, and to be able to monitor that to know when certain adjustments need to be made for our students. In addition to just classroom certified teachers, here in District 205, we do have reading specialists. We do have math specialists. We do have EL educators. Here in District 205, we do have instructional coaches. We have REACH teachers. We have special education staff and teachers. We have social workers. And all of that combined helps us provide collectively individualized support and care. We want to let our parents and our community know that we are committed. We're committed to continuous improvement, and we are going to continue to review our structures, our systems, our processes, our practices to ensure they continue to align not only with best practice, but with research, as well as ensuring that they are getting the desired outcomes that this board has set as a standard and expectation and what is expected of our community. Now, based on our current enrollment figures, there are no additional classrooms planned beyond what has already been in place at our elementary schools. As we approach August, the first day of school, administration continues to analyze class lists, identify specific student needs, and review plans to support both our teachers, our staff, to make sure we are providing a successful learning environment in every classroom, in every school across District 205. Again, we hear you. We thank you for engaging in the conversations. We thank you for the feedback that you've provided. We thank you for your trust. We thank you for your partnership as we continue to work to ensure that every student in Elmhurst District 205 is supported, is challenged, and empowered to succeed. That statement will be shared and available for the entire community. It will go out in board highlights for those that would like to review that. And again, just thank you for the continued partnership and engagement from our community. Moving on to other additional highlights, as already been shared, we are extremely excited for a successful start of the school year. No one's clapping. Okay. All right. Clap or snap or something. Yeah, summer's over, and I'm sorry. Okay, summer is quickly fleeting, but here in D205, we are gearing up. We are super excited. We welcome first back our district leadership team. with a DLT, what we call our DLT kickoff. That's on Tuesday, August 5th, as well as 6th, as we as a leadership team continue to prepare and do the essential work to welcome students back into our classrooms, into our learning spaces. Also, we have a new educator welcome, where we are excited. Over the last few years, this has been a highlight. We've received so much positive feedback about this experience, where we welcome our new staff into the District 205 team. We have this year, I think approximately, Dr. Schumacher, 53 new educators that will be with us. But I do want to take a moment to thank the Chamber of Commerce. They host each year a special luncheon for our new educators, and this year that's going to take place on August 6th. In the York Commons area. It is an amazing time, not only welcoming new staff to D205, but they get a welcome, red carpet rollout welcome to the Elmhurst community. And last year there were goodie bags and different little trinkets and things that were donated by various businesses to welcome them to the community. So we're really excited about that. And then Institute Day, we are excited to welcome all of our staff. Our staff returns on Monday, August 11th. And our teaching and learning team has fiercely been working, super excited about the offerings and the learning that's going to be taking place over the two-day institute. The district and school leadership teams are excited to offer over 40 different learning sessions aligned to our district-wide instructional priorities. And then Wednesday, August 13th. Do you know what Wednesday, August 13th is? That is the day when we welcome back our students, the center, the reason, our why as to why we are here and why we do what we do. And we're super excited to welcome all of our students back to our buildings. Speaking of buildings, we want to say a special thank you to our D205 custodial workers. It is just amazing the amount of time and attention and concerted effort that goes into preparing our learning environments to receive students. Cleaning, deep cleaning, moving, stripping, like all the things that take place. And so we want to say a special thank you. Can we just clap and put our hands together for our thank you? Our custodial and maintenance team that has been working tirelessly just to prepare to receive our students. So again, we appreciate you. It is truly, every team member matters. Every team member contributes to the positive experience that we provide for our students. My last update is mark your calendars. For Tuesday, August 12th, will be our Madison ribbon cutting ceremony and community open house. So we're super excited not only to come to the ribbon cutting, but Madison will be available for community members to walk through and to see the amazing investment that has been made for our mini Dukes. So again, that concludes the superintendent communication. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. Next is board communications. We have two board highlights that we wanted to communicate. The first one is the committee assignments for the 2025-2026 school year. Each year, board members have the opportunity to express which committees and roles they are interested in taking on or rolling off of. Once feedback is received from individual board members, the board president and vice president work together to determine assignments. The board committee assignments are based on individual interests for the 2025-2026 school year, and they're listed in board docs for the public to view. The other board communication is the community advisor appointments for 2025-2026 school year. The Board of Education is thrilled to announce the community members who have been selected to participate on one of the two Board of Education committees for the 2025-2026 school year. Over the last few months, an open application process for these positions was made available to our community. After an overwhelming response and over 50 applications for each committee, a lottery was implemented to select the community representatives who will sit as non-board members and volunteer their time on one of the two committees below. I'm going to read names, and I'm hoping I pronounce them right, but I'm hoping to learn them soon if I pronounce them incorrectly. The Finance and Operations Committee community representatives will be community members Kelsey Leticia, Peter Ferran, and Gary Rahani. For the Parent-Teacher Advisory Community Representatives, community members Catherine Wagner, Sarah Gamrat, and Abhilasha Verma. These two standing committees report directly to the Board of Education. While these committees do not take final action on behalf of the board, they play a critical role in our community work. The role of the community member on the Board of Education committee is to provide community perspective. Community members serve in a non-voting capacity and are appointed to enhance community representation and ensure a variety of perspectives are considered in a collaborative manner which supports the vision and mission of the district. All decision-making is held by the elected officials, board members, assigned to each committee, and ultimately the Board of Education approves or denies recommendations that come forward from committee work. The Board of Education values the input of parents, guardians, and community members and recognizes their contributions as essential to the work of its standing committees. Thank you to those who demonstrated interest in serving our community in this capacity. We look forward to the ongoing work together. Are there other communications anyone has to know? Okay.
Dr. Henry, I apologize. I skipped over a communication highlight before. That was totally my fault. Ms. Daniels?
I figured there was a video we were missing.
No offense taken. So it's only fitting that we started with the update and of summer programming that we end with a video that also was a highlight from summer programming. So this is a clip of a recent Hall Pass video that Dr. Campbell did with our Project Lead the Way programming this summer, I believe it was at Fisher Elementary School. Sorry about the picture.
So I see we have a couple of samples in front of us. What do we see and what do we have?
Yes, absolutely. So from our human brain input and output, we started with day one just building the clay model of the brain, but as we went through the unit, we added more. So we labeled each part of the brain and which sense is connected to the brain. We used yarn to show inputs, how we get inputs from our senses, and what output that could cause with our bodies. Later in that module, they created podcasts or videos to talk about concussions and meeting that goal of the problem of either early prevention or early indicating signs. So they were able to create a 2-minute video or podcast to share out. With our interconnected systems and waterways, we made a terrarium. So after we learned about our 4 Earth systems, we created a terrarium and talked about how each part of the systems are represented. So our biosphere is the plant, our geosphere is our soil or sand, our hydrosphere is our petri dish of water, and then also talking about how can we impact the atmosphere. So we added some ice cubes up to the top to see how that would impact our atmosphere, and they will be creating their models to purify water tomorrow.
It is so amazing, just the rich learning, and it's summer, and it's fun, and it's hands-on, and I had the opportunity to walk in and actually see this learning in action, and students were meeting together and in small groups and working together collaboratively. Was just an absolute amazing. How are students sharing this learning with like their families? How are they sharing this learning with others?
So we also have time built into some of our instructional tech, and the tool I decided to use was Book Creator. So we have a little bit of time every day, if not like every other day, where students are adding to this digital book to put in their conclusion sections to talk, or questions to talk about the things that they are creating, to take pictures, to upload their videos or podcasts. So then this book at the end of our unit is going to be shared out to the families at home, and then they can see each other's books that they created throughout summer.
That's the integration not only of STEM, but then how you're making connections back to literacy and to writing, for bringing the passion and the energy and the engagement to our students. And just by evidence here, they are learning so much and being able to apply that learning.
So that was obviously a shortened clip. We took a bunch of pieces. It's a much longer video, but we wanted to share a little bit about it because it really was, I got to see it as well. It was mind-blowing, literally, no pun intended, to see the work that was being done by these students in this class. So it's a really cool video, and it'll be linked in the board highlights. The full one will.
Thank you, Tanya. It's a really cool experience. Okay, so next, upcoming meetings. Next meeting is August 5th, 2025, Finance and Operations meeting at 5 p.m., District 205 Center, rooms 215, 216, and 217. The following meeting is August 19th, 2025, Board of Education meeting at 7 p.m. at the District 205 Center, rooms 215, 216, and 217. And this meeting is now adjourned at 8:21. Thank you.